Hello and welcome to Finding Makita Jones. Today we're doing a bullet journal setup for the month of May. I asked you guys my last bullet journal if you wanted me to explain the process, so I do a little bit of explanation in the video and some music. So I think it came together okay. You tell me. So stay tuned and let's see what we came up with. We're going to be working on the month of May, and so we're going to be setting up. So welcome back. And looking at my bullet budget journal, we're going to be setting up the month of May, and we're going to be. I've come up with a theme, and I know I said I was going to come up with a theme based on this washi tape. However, I changed my mind because I'm going to save this washi tape for another time. I will come up with a theme based on this, but not for this month. I changed my mind, and in actually working on this, I don't know how it came to my mind. I came up with the actual theme we're going to be seeing today. So we're going to go open up the journal. We're going to go ahead and go to the blank pages for the month of May. There we go. So, what is my theme? See if you can guess. I'm sure you can guess. Dead giveaway. Dead giveaway. We're doing a New York theme. Your girl's from New York. Well, I'm not from New York. I'm actually from California, but I've lived here so long, you might as well say I'm from New York. So, we're doing New York theme. So we've got our headers here. We've got an obligatory Statue of Liberty and some New York taxis. And we've got our cover page, some pigeons. This is the clock in the Grand Central Terminal. Some pizzas, some fire hydrants, some coffee, must-haves. And we also have some iconic buildings and signs. So these are some of the elements we're going to be using. We're going to add a couple more. So without further ado, so we're starting with the cover page, where I've got my cute little NYC here, and putting it down on the page. And at this point, I'm just kind of trying to figure out, like, what kind of elements do I want on the page. I'm not quite sure, so you're going to see me playing around with a couple different things to see what I want this page to look like. I had no clue. I just started throwing things on the page and kind of like, oh, does that work? I don't know. Let's try this. So, you know, kind of, and then I realized, okay, all these stickers are a mess. So you can see off to the side I have a tray. Oh, and this is also where the camera went askew. So off to the side I have a tray of all my elements, somewhat neatly organized. And before I decide to what other elements I'm going to put into this tray, I make a decision to put the month and the year on my month page, my cover page. So that's what I'm doing here. These are some Happy Planner stickers that I had, so I decided to go ahead and put some month stickers, letter stickers, and spell out May. And I was getting very persnickety here because even though my planner is a dot grid planner, it was still getting the letters wrong. So I don't know what's happening there, but anyway, so there I go, putting the stickers on. And the speeding up factor, it makes all of this look so much more quicker than it actually was. So again, I'm back trying to figure out what elements I want on this page and where do I want them. Of course, the pizza is a must, and I really like that the taxi, just because I like the yellow on it. The pigeon, those pigeons are hard to place. I feel like I should have picked a different pigeon, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that pigeon moved around the page a lot. So yeah, right here I'm just kind of moving stuff around, see where it goes, playing with different elements, seeing how they fit, until I decide on where things need to go. And I had two different sizes of elements, especially the pizza and the coffee and the pigeons. I had two different sizes, so I decided to go with a bigger slice of drippy piece of pizza, and that looked in my mind better than the baby one, so we went with the bigger one. And yeah, and there's that pigeon. Not quite sure where to put it, so I just decided to put off the side of the page pecking at the 2023. I decided to have it pecking at the year. Yeah, and then we decided to bring in that cab because I don't know, New York without a cab. You need a cab in New York. It's iconic. So there we go, adding the cab to the page. So now we're moving on to our calendar page, where I will be tracking my no spend days, my paydays, and my Etsy paydays, and any other important dates. So yeah. So I decided to put the cutting mat there, and then I took it away because I thought it'd make it easier, but actually it made it more bulkier, and it was, yeah. So I took it away, and actually when I put this on the page, the Subway sign, I really liked the way it looked. I thought I would, but you know, whatever. That's why I graded it, but it really, I liked, it just reminded me of New York Subway, and I just thought it looked really good. Anyway, so I'm just going ahead and drawing in my calendar, and yeah, I'm just setting up the page, and as you've seen before, me drawing in the calendar, so there you go. Sometimes I think this creating the calendar and doing the line work in a bullet journal setup is like the most tedious part, because I end up doing it twice, because I do it a pencil drawing so I know where the lines are, and I do that off camera, so I count out how wide the boxes should be, and I'm counting little dots on the dot grid and everything. And then I go back and I do it again in black pen so that I can see it and I won't accidentally erase it. But this is the most tedious part of doing a bullet journal, and I'm debating whether I should just, since I know my pages are pretty much the same every month, I'm just debating on just cracking down and going through and just setting this all up with black ink in advance and getting it over and done with. But I'll probably regret that, so I'll probably just do it 1 month ahead. So right here we're putting down some elements, and I put in a food cart, which is, you know, New York, and a hot dog and a bagel, and because, you know, I like my foods. And yeah, so we're just kind of going ahead and filling that up with some elements, and I don't know what I did. Oh, okay. So right here I am masking off the top row of the calendar, so I can go in and color it in black, all messy like, and not have to worry about it going over the lines. So it's easy. This is a great technique if you aren't that accurate with your drawing. And you know what, it just occurred to me, I have a masking liquid that I could have used for this, but I didn't even think about it, and it comes up pretty easy. So I think instead of using washi tape next time, I might try out the masking fluid on something like this and see how it works. So yeah, you may see that in the next video. And this is where tragedy happens. I lost my bagel, y'all. So I was very upset, and I tried to rescue it. And this is like washi tape, and usually it peels off pretty easily, but it didn't, and it peeled off my bagel. So I had to get another bagel, and I was not happy about that. But anyway, right here I'm just kind of cleaning up some of the lines that went over, And there is the other bagel. And actually, it was the universe telling me, girl, put the bigger bagel in there because it makes more sense. And it actually looked a little bit better than the smaller one. So there you go. Putting the bigger bagel on. So here I am, filling in the days of the week with my white jelly roll marker. I think that's a 0.8, and I like the white on the black because it follows the theme, and we're using red dots to do the dates. Now, I'm using one of those dot markers, and the problem is the dot marker only makes a circle only so big, so we'll see how the dates go into that. So now we're working on my budget page, and there's going to be a lot of line drawing in here as well. So, so prepare yourself. So here, I mean, I explain what I'm doing. I'm actually putting a dot, a pin mark at each corner, because when I draw on the lines, I sometimes can't see where the line starts and ends. So the dot kind of helps me know where the line starts and ends, so I don't go over and have to go back in and with whiteout to kind of get rid of that overdraw. So in case you're wondering in my other videos what I was doing when I was drawing those little dots, that's what I'm doing. Okay, so we've drawn on all our lines, and here I'm just trying to figure out what element I want to put in the center of the page. And I decided to go with the Chrysler Building, and I put the, I don't know, can you, I think you can go to the Chrysler Building and go up to the, I think there's a place in the Chrysler Building that you can go up to and look off the deck. I could be wrong, but anyway, the little view thing that you can do off the Empire State Building, I put one of those, and because it just made sense. I have to go. Have I been in the Chrysler Building? I don't even know. I don't think I have. And don't ask me why. I just threw the pigeon in the middle of the page. I didn't even make him peck the top of the building. He's just midair, just standing midair. And now when I look back at it, I'm like, why is that pigeon there? Why is the pigeon there? But anyway, he's gonna stay there. He's just gonna hang out there and just be zen, hanging out midair. And I don't know, the red fire hydrant kind of spoke to me. Don't ask me why. But yeah, the red fire hydrant. I wanted to put that somewhere on the page. And you're going to see that Wall Street element come up a couple times because I think I try to put it in a lot of different places. So now we're going to my Etsy page, and we're putting the header in on that. And we're going to proceed to, like with the other pages, draw in the lines. Oh, and also on this page, the next page is a review page. I almost forgot about that. Yeah. So when I do my month in reviews, this is where I track that. And there you go. So I'm adding in Lady Liberty. She just seemed to fit on the page there. And yeah, she was a little hard to get out the paper. But I thought I'd put her off to the edge. We all know what Lady Liberty looks like, so I didn't think it'd be a big deal if I cut off her other arm. So yeah. And as with the other pages, we are drawing in the lines. So here I'm thinking about adding a taxi, and I just like these. I just like how colorful and bright these taxis are. But after going through the process of cutting the whole taxi out, I eventually decided not to add it. So yeah, and then I thought, oh wait, it's a New York subway theme. So maybe I should add a subway stop. Yay! So I went ahead and added in a subway stop, which made more sense at some point on one of my pages than yet another taxi. So I added a subway page here, and you could see that, yeah. And I think that's it for that page. I don't know if I added any more elements to this page. There we go, cutting off her poor girl's arm, and we're going to go ahead and mask off these titles, so I can go ahead and add the black marker to them. I think the black marker really looks good on with this theme, because it kind of makes the page pop. It's weird to say that black makes something pop, but it does, and it really does bring in the theme once I go over it with the white Jelly Roll marker. So this is where it starts to get a little dicey for me, considering that I lost my bagel on the calendar page. I'm trying not to put the washi, press it down too much, so it doesn't rip up elements of my subway sign. So, and I'm cutting it in half so it doesn't cover the entire subway sign. But yeah, I was a little nervous, y'all, trying to do this part. And I desperately try not to press too hard down on here, because I didn't feel like printing out another one of these. Like ripping the header off and then putting down another one. I was not in the mood. So we had to be very gingerly with this. So. Yay! we have success. No headers were ruined in the making of these secondary header rows. I guess that's what we're going to call them. Yeah, I was successful in not applying too much pressure, and yeah, I was very happy about that. So right now I'm going through and I'm doing a little bit of cleanup. I'm doing some eraser work, and I'm using my white acrylic marker to touch up some of the over edges of the black line. The acrylic marker is really great because it's opaque and you can't see the black under it. And there goes that taxi again. So we found a home for the taxi because why not? So you got taxis, you got subways, and you know, all modes of transportation to go to the Statue of Liberty. So right now we're working on our savings page and our highlights page. I really do like this savings page because it helps me see progress in my sinking funds at a glance. And yes, I can go through individual sinking funds, but who wants to do that? Well, you can just look at one page and see all the progress you made there. So yeah, and it really did help me when I was doing my cash condensing. So yeah, I really do like that page. And my highlights page, yeah, you see me gingerly whip this back up because there's too much white space at the top and it was really kind of bothering me. And I don't think I'm clinically OCD, but I do have the tendencies. I needed to make it right. I needed to make it right. So success. The page came up and it didn't rip the other pages, so that is a win for me. So right now I'm just kind of pulling some other elements that I had that I was playing with to see what I wanted on the page. So, and there goes that Wall Street sign again, and a street sign. So we've got the Grand Central, and then we got the Washington Square Park, and a saxophone, and a New York symbol. So I decided to go with Washington Square Park, and I have the saxophone there because whenever I go to Washington Square Park, there's a lot of activity going on during the day. I would not recommend going at night, but you know, do you. But there's a lot of activity going during the day, and usually it's, you know, some legal, some not, but usually there's some kind of music going on, and you know, people bringing boom boxes and, you know, playing whatever. But they also have musicians, and I just always imagine saxophone players there and guitar players there. So that's where the saxophone was. That was the inspiration for the saxophone. And also there also is a blues club there near Washington, not in the park, but not too far from the park, if I remember correctly. Pretty famous. I think it's the Blue Light Club. I could be wrong. I have to look it up. But yeah, I know there is a jazz slash blues club near that area. So yeah, so I'm coloring in my lines again for my to list all my challenges and my my sinking funds and my challenges, my sinking funds, and my easy peasy line for the highlights page because it's just a square. So that's what I'm doing here. And we are going ahead and coloring in the headers again. This goes much quicker each time I do it. And I'm getting better at ripping without tearing up my headers. So there you go. And there we go with the white marker again, doing some cleanup. So I decided to put the clock from the Grand Central Station because why not? It's iconic. And although I didn't use the Grand Central Station, I figured I could still use the clock to put there. So, and just putting, you know, just a little New York element here. And there goes the Washington Square Park arch. And now this was a challenge to put on, and I didn't really think this through before I pulled all the backing off, which I really shouldn't have, because those little loosey-goosey, I'm going to call them legs, but they're not legs. They are making this difficult to put down. And then I put it down, and I was too far down. and I finally got it right. It's slightly crooked. I'm just gonna let it go, but yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're just gonna let it. It's fine. So we're just gonna let it go. I'm not gonna worry about it anymore. It's done. So okay, so we now I'm gonna add this little street sign, and what else am I adding here? Oh, a cup of coffee. Yeah, we all need a cup of coffee. I actually need a cup of coffee right now. So we're adding street sign, a cup of coffee, and I'm not quite sure where I'm going to add this coffee. I think I rotated all the way around the page before I decide where it should go. And yeah, I decided it goes there. And I'm still trying to incorporate the saxophone. It's just too big. The saxophone is too big, so I decided not to bring in the saxophone. But I do bring in the street sign, for which, I put out the edge of the page so we can cut it off. And there you go. And yeah. Yeah, I felt like this page had an egregious amount of titles. But because I felt like I was ripping washi up and then drawing, and ripping washi up and then drawing. But in the end, it looked cute, but it did have a lot of titles. So I don't think I have any black washi. When I go look at my washi collection, I go, oh, you do have a black solid washi that you could have used, but of course, I didn't have it at the moment, so this is what we're left doing. But regardless, I kind of, the way I drew it, it wasn't a solid black line. You probably can't tell too much from the camera, but it was more scratchy line, and I kind of like that scratchy look. So it all worked out, even though this was a bit tedious. Not as tedious as drawing all these lines, but a bit tedious. So. So here's what I got a little bit smarter with cutting off the elements instead of flipping the page in some awkward way. So I broke out my cutting mat and my baby cutting mat and said, this is so much easier. You live and learn. The more you do something, the better you get at it, and the more efficient you get at it. So there you go. So once and there you go, that Wall Street sign again. It's going to be flying around these pages because I desperately wanted a place to put them. So right here, I felt like I needed some element to tie all these little pieces together. So I went through and I drew a line with a drop shadow around it. And it wasn't too much, but it was just enough to kind of, tie all these the pizza with the skyline, with the taxi, with the bird, with the hat. It tied it all together, and it was just enough. So I was happy with it. I was afraid that I might ruin it, and I literally did not. So that's a win for me, because sometimes I will do stuff and I will overdo it, and just like, you should have just left it. So this one actually wasn't overdone, and I'm just putting a couple little drop shadows around some of those elements, and there you go. That cover page is done. So here you see I added some elements that you guys did not see me add. I think I know I lost the footage, but basically, or maybe I just forgot to take it off of pause. That's probably more likely. But basically what I'm doing here is I'm trying to recreate a subway map. And if you've ever seen a New York subway map, it is very colorful and it shows all the different lines. And I did recreate I did a version of it on the monthly page, but it turned out kind of wonky here and I wasn't really happy with it, but it was what it was because it's permanent pin and it was there. So and then I just tried to fix it, and it was just kind of getting not better. So I just it is what it is. I mean, when I look back at it today, it doesn't look as horrible as I originally thought it was when I was doing it, but it's not great. So it is what it is. And I keep adding dots. Don't ask me why. So yeah, that's my subway map. I just felt that this needed some kind of element on the page, and I just did it on this page. I didn't do it on the other pages because my execution wasn't all that great. You can see right there, it went by a little bit fast of what I was going for, but okay, so there's that. So here, what I've decided to do is add some drop shadows around all my boxes, because drop shadows make everything look cute, in my opinion. And it's just a very subtle drop shadow. It's the same drop shadow that I used on the front cover, and it added something. It's like you can barely see it, but it added a little something. So I'm happy with it. So yeah. So here I'm basically going through adding the final touches on the pages. I'm writing in with my Jelly Roll white Jelly Roll pen. I added in some of the titles and I've decided to put some dots here to represent the different lines of the subway, color lines of the subway. I don't know if I'm going to have that many important dates, but it looked cute. You can see on here where I think I executed the subway map a little bit easier, but it's in a smaller space, the upper left quadrant, instead of on the whole page. Yeah, and I'm still trying with that Wall Street. Gotta put the Wall Street somewhere. And actually, had I put it there on the right hand side, it probably wouldn't have been. I'm sorry, left hand side. I don't know my left from right. I just called the upper quadrant. It's upper right quadrant. That's the left. I know my left from right. Anyway, had I put it where I first originally placed it, it probably wouldn't have looked that bad. But who knows? So here we are doing the final cleanup with my corner chomper, which I love, and I think this thing is awesome. The tool is like lasts me for, I don't know, I think I've had it for years. It's still sharp. Cutting off the edges, rounding the corners, and we're almost done there, guys. And one final element, since it's a budgeting channel, we still had to add Wall Street, and that's where I got it in. There you go. Okay, y'all, welcome back. She is done. It was a little bit of stuff. So I'm going to confess now, I apologize for the wonky camera angle that was in the video. I did not realize I bumped the camera, and I was just in the zone, and apparently I bumped the camera and it went all so hopefully I don't bump it again. It's straight. It's very close to me. I got to find a way to make this not so close. But anyway, so we're going to be going ahead and showing you what the final outcome is. I added a quote on the opposite side of the cover page. I still have not added a quote at the bottom of the calendar page, but I'll come up with something. I'll add that, and I'll show you what it looks like in my other cash stuffing videos. But without further ado, let's get to it. So this is the final setup. Oh, I forgot to erase. Hold on. Act like you didn't see this. No. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do some erasing in this video. Okay. So I took the quote from New York Empire State of Mind, and this is New York, concrete jumbles where dreams are made of. And I put the Big Apple here. And if you saw me set this up with the pigeon just sticking out there, New York hat, the dripping pizza, and the cab. I like the way this turned out, actually. I did it late at night. I was kind of like, ugh. But then looking at it now, I do like the way it turned out. So this is my quote for the month of May, and let's get to it. So as you can see, right here is what the subway map started to look like. As you saw on other pages, it didn't turn out quite as cool and cohesive on the other pages as it does here. So I just put it up in the corner, and that's what we have there. And I can see the dates in here, but you guys probably can't, and they are very small. So yeah, but this is going to work for me. I'm going to put my little icons down here, which I forgot to do, and a quote. So you guys will see that in probably one of my cash stuffing videos, and I'll make sure I'll point that out. So yeah, got our little food cart here with our donuts and our bagels. What more do you need? So now then we go into the budget page. And on the budget page, this is where the subway map went awry. I'm looking at it now. It doesn't look as awful as I thought it did, but it doesn't look great. But it'll work. It'll work. I'll make it work. So that you've seen this page before, but basically this is what it looks like. And the coffee cup. And oh, I did look it up. The Chrysler Building does not have an observation deck. So you won't see these in this building. You only see these in the Empire State Building and other buildings that have an observation deck. But hey, fine, whatever. Etsy. Okay, so I added the subway here, and I added the cab here, and this is the finished page. I'm gonna have to put a header here, but I think I might change it, so that's why I didn't put the header up here. But everything else is pretty much set up. And we have our savings and highlights page. Like I said, I needed to put Wall Street somewhere on here, so I did. I mean, I am a budgeting channel. I can't go without mentioning the finance district in New York without, it's a budgeting channel. Come on, you gotta mention Wall Street. You gotta do it. Okay. So yeah, this is all set up. Like I said, the savings page is really being very useful in terms of the way I am cash stuffing and condensing. So I really like that. Highlights page, yay. And that's it. So, oh, I forgot to mention that I didn't really put anything on my highlights page for April. I can't think of anything. Okay, the only thing I could think of is I don't think anything financial wise happened in April to put on the highlights page. I mean, yes, every day is a gift, every day is a blessing. I will I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna put something on here because I know that I am being I'm not recognizing some of the blessings I must have gotten in April because I know I did. So I'm gonna go back and I will show you what the highlights were. But yeah, that's our setup, New York themed setup. I know y'all are expecting something based off of this, and I promise you, I will leave you something based off of this at some point. But my brain was just not working on this. It just says, no, girl, you're gonna do New York. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.